the store. HP Instant Ink, a smarter way to print for less.
If you want quality food that's good value like me, then Gusto really gives you more bang for your bucks. Every recipe has quality ingredients with zero compromise on flavour. Like this hot honey crispy chicken with smashed potatoes. Look at that, just over £3 per plate.
Have you ever been in a group chat and thought, wow, if anyone ever sees these texts, we're going to jail? Because I was in a group chat like that, but one day, it actually did get leaked. And the punishment we got for this leak was 10 times worse than we ever could have imagined. It all started after spring break. Everyone was depressed to be back at school after 5 days off, and there was only one thing that could get us through the school day, our group chat. It was called Kids with Dads and Trey, because Trey's dad left when he was younger. There was 6 of us in it, and if you've ever been in a group chat like this before, you know there's always one person who's just slightly unhinged. In our group, that was Eli. Now don't get me wrong, Eli wasn't some evil mastermind. He wasn't scary or anything. He was just a little too chronically online. Like one time, one of my friends sent a picture of them eating a sandwich, and he literally photoshopped it to make the sandwich look like a turd, so it looked like he was eating poop. Don't ask why. I don't know. But this was the type of stuff that Eli liked to do. Sometimes it was funny, sometimes not, but it was always harmless. Until it wasn't. Because on a random Wednesday, during the last hour of school, I see a random message pop up in the group chat. It's from Eli, and it just says, "Nobody come to school Friday." What? I scroll up to see if I missed something. Was this part of some other joke? Did I miss the bit? But nope. That was it. Completely unprovoked, he sent that message. Now, if you're a normal person, your brain probably immediately goes, okay, red flag. That's weird. But this was Eli we were talking about. This dude made a fake mixtape one time dissing his teacher that made my ears want to bleed. So naturally, none of us took the message seriously. We're all just replying with jokes like, bro thinks he's him. I wasn't going to school anyway. And I just dropped a meme of SpongeBob in there that said, I'ma head out. None of us thought much of the text. Or at least we thought. Because there was one person in the group chat that didn't respond to the message at all, Marcus. See, Marcus was the responsible one in our group. Like, he actually had goals in life and wanted to have a good career. Lame, right? So while the rest of us were laughing it off, Marcus was silent. But the next morning, I get to school, open my locker, and boom, I see Marcus power walking down the hallway like one of those weird kids when the bell rings for lunch. So I'm like, yo, Marcus, where are you headed so fast? But he whispers back to me, I told Mrs. Daniels about the message. Who is Mrs. Daniels? Our principal. So I'm like, wait, what message? The one Eli sent, about not going to school? Wait, for real? Dead serious. I just didn't want to take the chance. It was weird. And I get why he did this. If Eli actually did something bad, and this story ended up being a Netflix documentary, we would have been the stupid kids that everyone said, why did they not see the signs? Unfortunately, there were about 7 brain cells altogether if you added up everyone's from the group chat. So we didn't think of that. But if Marcus had any idea about just how much harm he caused by telling the principal, he never would have done it. Because fast forward a couple hours, I'm in 4th period, vibing with my AirPods on, when suddenly someone walks into our classroom and whispers in the teacher's ear. The teacher nods her head, and once the girl's done talking, she goes, Tyler, they need you in the office. I froze. I knew this wasn't a, you're getting a reward type of office call. This was a, you are cooked call. But in my head, I'm like, I'm sure this isn't that bad, until I leave the classroom. And who do I see? Everyone else from the group chat. Everyone's got the same nervous expression on their face thinking, we're done. Group chat got leaked. We're all going to prison. It's over. And then, just to complete the doomsday image, we walk into the office, and who do we see? Mrs. Daniels waiting for us. She has a folder in her hand. She's about 9 months pregnant, looking like she's about to suspend us and give birth all at the same time. And let me tell you, Mrs. Daniels was not a chill principal. No, she was the type of principal that you don't look directly in the eyes, because if you do, you might turn into stone. So we were terrified to see her. And remember the part how I said she was pregnant, because that will be very important for later. So she tells us to all walk into the conference room. This isn't some little side room where you go when you faked a fever and you're waiting for your mom to pick you up. No, this is like where the president goes during a national emergency. You know it's bad when they bring you in this room. So Mrs. Daniels tells us to sit down, and then she sits down at the head of the table as if she's about to end our whole career. She's got a folder in front of her, hands crossed, and a look on her face like she was about to say, you guys are never going to college. So we all sit down. No one speaks. It is pitch silent. You can literally hear the air conditioning humming. Mrs. Daniels opens the folder, and then she says, so, I'm gonna read you guys a message. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Nobody come to school Friday. And just like that, we all started side-eyeing each other. Eli, who was sitting directly across from her, tries to speak. I'm sorry, that was me. But before he could even finish his sentence, the principal goes, Eli, you'll have your turn. Bro, what is this? Judge Judy? She looks up and makes eye contact with each one of us, slowly. This message was sent in a group chat that includes all of you. Luckily, one of you, Marcus, was concerned, and he came to me with this message and showed it to me. Side note, Marcus had his eyes glued to the table the whole time as if he was trying to astral project into the wood. Now I know what you're all gonna say. It was a joke. And I really hope it was. But you have to understand that in this day and age, we cannot, and I mean cannot, undermine how serious this is. That's when Eli raises his hand again, as if this was math class. I promise it was a joke. I didn't mean anything by it. I was just frustrated with how much homework I had, and I was joking about it. I wasn't planning on actually doing anything, I swear. Little did I know, we should not have believed a word Eli said. She nods slowly, listening to Eli, and then she writes something in her folder. And then she goes, I have a question. Why did no one else report this? And suddenly, all our heads started to swivel, looking at each other like we were watching a tennis match. If any of you felt that this message was concerning, you had a responsibility to report it to me, even if it turned out to be a joke. But none of you did. Marcus did. Matter of fact, all your replies to this message made it seem like you guys thought it was funny. That is why Marcus is not in trouble today. At this point, we could just feel that she was building up to something. And then she goes, as for the rest of you, I'm currently reviewing whether this falls under our failure to report clause. There's a strong argument to be made that you guys should be suspended. One of my friends goes, wait, what? We thought what he said was a joke. We didn't think it was serious. We just send dumb stuff in that group chat all the time. Mrs. Daniels doesn't even flinch while she responds. Yes, and sometimes those jokes turn into headlines. I can't even lie. That was low-key a bar by Mrs. Daniels. Like, I respect it. But in that moment, it wasn't funny. And listen, she wasn't wrong. But at the same time, this was Eli we were talking about. This man once said he was gonna raid Area 51, and then he showed up to school the next day in a tinfoil hat. No one in that group chat has ever been a threat to anything except for good grammar. Or so we thought. She closes the folder and then says, I'll be meeting with the superintendent today to decide on appropriate disciplinary action. But as of now, you're all under administrative review. We didn't even know what that meant. What kind of ominous Harry Potter language is administrative review? Eli looks like he's about to cry. Jake looks zoned out. Trey's just whispering something to himself. And me? I'm just staring at the folder hoping that if I blink hard enough, it will go away. The principal dismisses us. And the moment we leave the room, we scatter like scared rats. We're all having a post-game press conference with each other. Bro, we're getting suspended. It's over. I'm dead. My mom is literally gonna make me disappear. Trey wasn't lying when he said that either, by the way. His mom would actually do that. Then Marcus tries to speak up and says, guys, I didn't mean to get you in trouble like this. And we're all just like, Marcus, stop talking. Like, we get it. He was trying to do the right thing, but he also just served us up to the principal on a silver platter. The next few hours of school felt like a fever dream. I couldn't focus in class no matter what. Not that I could before, but I couldn't even eat at lunch. And you guys know me, I'm a big bag, so that was not normal. I couldn't even open the group chat from how terrified I was of it now. The worst part, no one knew what our fate was gonna be. No one in our school knew about this yet until Monday morning. This story was in every friend group, classroom, and hallway in the school. Now, I was just hoping the girl I had a crush on liked bad boys because that's what I became. I wore SpongeBob underwear at the time, by the way. But we all thought we were cooked, burnt to a crisp. And it all started with one sentence. Nobody come to school Friday. What was he thinking? The whole time we were in administrative review, I was just thinking the same thing in class. We're definitely getting suspended. I always thought it would be a crumble cookie that took me out.
Funkos Pop Yourself. Customize a Funko Pop for friends and family. Or build one to look just like you. It's the perfect gift. Make your own today at Funko.com.
But it turns out it was just going to be my mom after finding out this news. And just like rumors do, it started to spread throughout the school and get crazy. People started fabricating the story, making it sound way worse than it was. It turned from a silly little text in the group chat to 5 guys are planning to blow up the school. Like, if y'all are gonna snitch about what happened to us, it now. The worst part, no one knew what our fate was gonna be. No one in our school knew about this yet until Monday morning. This story was in every friend group, classroom, and hallway in the school. Now, I was just hoping the girl I had a crush on liked bad boys because that's what I became. I wore SpongeBob underwear at the time, by the way. But we all thought we were cooked, burnt to a crisp. And it all started with one sentence. Nobody come to school Friday. What was he thinking? The whole time we were in administrative review, I was just thinking the same thing in class. We're definitely getting suspended. I always thought it would be a crumble cookie that took me out. But it turns out it was just gonna be my mom after finding out this news. And just like rumors do, it started to spread throughout the school and get crazy. People started fabricating the story, making it sound way worse than it was. It turned from a silly little text in the group chat to 5 guys are planning to blow up the school. Like, if y'all are gonna snitch about what happened to us, can you at least make us sound cool and not insane? Trey sat down at our lunch table and goes, I just had a girl ask me if I was gonna be on the news. We're spiraling, and we even stopped texting in the group chat because now anything could be used as evidence. But here's where it gets strange. We get back to school on Monday morning, which was the day we were supposed to learn the news about what our fate was gonna be. But when we get there, the whole day we're expecting, we're waiting, but nothing happens. No one gets called into the office, no announcement, no anything. We get through the whole day of school in a constant state of fear, just waiting for the moment our names were gonna get called over the intercom. But it never happens. I even sneak a glance into the office during passing period, and guess what? Mrs. Daniels wasn't there. Tuesday, same thing. No update, no principal. So during lunch one day, we asked one of the teachers we were all cool with if they knew where Principal Daniels was at. You know what they said? She spawned a new player into the world. That's right, she gave birth. We all got super excited after hearing this news because we were hoping that this would give us more time to not get in trouble. Like, imagine being on death row and then the warden retires the day before you're supposed to get executed. That's what it felt like. I fell to my knees as if I just got drafted to the NBA, which was always my dream, but it didn't happen because I love LeBron so much that I didn't want to overtake him as the GOAT. And I'm also 4'11". But we knew that this didn't mean we were in the clear. We were hoping that having a baby would make Principal Daniels forget about the whole situation. But no, of course we couldn't get the easy way out. Because instead of that happening, we had to deal with a new character. The person that would be stepping in when Principal Daniels was gone. The one and only Mr. Lopez. Now, Mr. Lopez was a mystery. We didn't know a lot about him. All we knew was he carried a big water bottle, he wore glasses, he was bald, and he had a face that said, "Don't mess with me." And no, he was not Walter White, okay? So while part of us wanted to believe that we were safe now, we knew that Mr. Lopez had something coming for us. We tried to lay low the rest of the week, just hoping that everyone would forget about the situation. But then Friday came, and just when we thought that we might be out of the woods, Jake gets called to the office. And at this point, our brains are doing gymnastics trying to figure out what this means. Is this where we finally meet our demise? About 15 minutes go by where the rest of us are just panicking, thinking about what they're talking about in that office. Then finally, Jake returns. We swarm him like paparazzi. What happened? Are we cooked? Jake just blinks and then goes, "Guys, I think we're okay." Now, this dude's delivery was way too vague for the pressure we were under, so we made him sit down and explain everything that just happened in that office. Jake goes, "Okay, so I walked in and Mr. Lopez is just sitting there." Doesn't say much at first. He just goes, "You're one of the guys from the group chat thing, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Then he flips through the same folder that Mrs. Daniels had on us, as if it was a crime scene investigation. Okay, but what did he say? He read through the folder, sighed real loud, and then he went, "Okay, you're free to go. But just so you know, we're going to be calling you back in the office very soon, so just be aware of it. By the way, what is your friend Eli like?" Jake told the principal that Eli was a good kid that could just be crazy at sometimes. And after giving his explanation, Mr. Lopez shrugged a little bit and then told him he could go. What did this all mean? We had no idea. But we thought it was really strange that out of everyone, Jake was the only person to get called into the office. But then sure enough, over the next few days, we all got called in. And each time, Mr. Lopez gave a different version of the same speech. Basically just interrogating us, asking us what Eli was like, and asking us about what usually went on inside that group chat. When it was finally my turn to go in, I was prepared. I had a whole speech ready. I went in there and said, "I understand the gravity of the situation. I've reflected deeply on my actions, and I want you to know that I'm changed now." Lopez just cuts me off after about 5 seconds and goes, "Tyler, please stop." "Oh, okay." After the whole week went by, we all got called into the office, except for one person, the culprit himself, Eli. He was the last one. And honestly, no one knew how that would go, because technically, he did send the message. Even if it was a joke, it wasn't like Mrs. Daniels left a post-it note saying, be nice to Eli, we knew that our fate probably lied in his hands. And knowing him, that's a scary thing to think about. So the next day, we're in second period when Eli gets called to the office. He pulls out the facial expression of that one meme of the dog where he just accepts his fate. And he gathers his stuff and goes to the office. 30 minutes go by. 40. Bell rings. Still no sign of him. Then at lunch, he walks back into the cafeteria and we all freeze. This is the moment of truth. Did he get suspended? Did Lopez finally snap? Was Eli getting sent to juvie? Eli walks over to us, slams his lunch tray down, and says, starting next Monday, I got 1 week of in-school suspension. Because if he gave Eli his punishment right then and there, that meant that if we were getting any punishment, he would have done it to us when we got called into the office. So the case must have been closed. No one was getting expelled. Only Eli got in trouble, which, hey, he can take it. We finally thought it was over. But sadly, that was not the reality. Because about 3 weeks later, literally out of nowhere, we finally thought it was over. But sadly, that was not the reality. Because about 3 weeks later, literally out of nowhere, all 5 of us get pulled out of class and told to go into the office. Our souls leave our bodies. I stand up at my desk just thinking, if you're gonna arrest me, just get it over with already. Once we get to the office, who's there waiting for us? Principal Daniels. And she's got that dang folder in her hands. It was like she came back from taking care of her kid just to punish us. Where'd she even come from? Don't she got a baby to be feeding right now? We thought after she gave birth, we would never have to see her again. But there she was. No more baby bump, which, Miss Daniels, you were looking pretty good. I can't even lie. Okay, but that's not the point. Because after we all see her, then she starts talking. You boys know that before I had my child, I was deciding on what punishment you deserved for the group chat. Yep, that's it. We're all going to jail, aren't we? And after reviewing all the text and details, I decided that every one of you should be suspended. This was the moment. I knew it. My mom was about to disown me. No more cooking meals for me. I'm about to get kicked out of the house and have to find a job. But then, in one final twist to the story, Mrs. Daniels goes, but I'm not currently the principal. So I handed over the folder to Mr. Lopez and let him decide what to do with it. Oh no, what was Walter White about to do to us? And then she goes, and luckily for all of you, after talking to each and every one of you individually for the folder to Mr. Lopez, while what you did was dumb and irresponsible, you don't deserve to be suspended. Suspended. And Eli, I'm sorry you had to take the fall, but suspended. And Eli, I'm sorry, makes it sound like Jeffrey Dahmer is your role model.